really slow down into this space from considering our mothers as souls having a human experience and what it is we've actually learned from them.
Welcome, bienvenue, bonjour to the Beautiful Soul-Led Life podcast. For women who desire to awaken their heartfelt desires, trust themselves fully, and connect with their soul's purpose through beauty. On y va. Let's go.
Hello, bonjour. Welcome to the Beautiful Soul-Led Life podcast. I have a whole situation going on today. Cough, congestion, no running water, start of my cycle, all the fun, beautiful things that we move through as women. It's all happening today. So originally I was, and I still want to do this, going to have my mom on the Beautiful Soul-Led Life podcast. And we couldn't get it together in time for Mother's Day for her and I to do a special call. So that's coming because I really want to have my mama on the podcast. So it's not going to make it in time for Mother's Day, but I'm going to be doing that. And I'm sure it'll be perfect because look, moms get to be celebrated not just on this one day. That being said, I've decided to still do a solo Mother's Day podcast today. Now, I know that it can bring up a lot, the idea of Mother's Day in a couple of different ways. And my intention is to honor all of them. If you are trying to become a mom, whether you're in an IVF cycle, whether you have experienced miscarriages, the loss of a child, if it's a brand new journey that you're taking part on, it can be a very tender day. If you have tried to be a mother and it hasn't been successful inside of the physical realm, it can be a very tender day. If you have lost, if your mother has transitioned from the physical world, it can be a very tender day. If you are in any stage of motherhood, have a newborn, have teenagers, have grown children, have grandchildren, it can be a very tender day. If you have had no desire to have children, but you have a mother of your own, it can be a very tender day. So I feel like Mother's Day really is for all of us. I don't feel anybody is excluded from Mother's Day. And what I'd like to bring forward in the conversation for today is really a gorgeous level of healing and gratitude for mothers everywhere. And again, regardless of whether or not you are a mother, you have a mother. And I want to speak to that because what I've seen in a lot of my conversations with clients, I've had a lot of clients that I've worked with over the years who I've been with as their mothers have actually transitioned from the physical realm. And it's been extraordinary to me to witness the intensity with which they feel this and the way that they see their mothers, that they may not have seen them that way when they were in the physical, if that makes sense. So in my tribute, and we'll do this a little more when my mom is on here in the future, but in my tribute to my own mother and to mothers everywhere, I had no fucking clue what it was like to be a mother until I was a mother. And in saying that, again, if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not a mom, so this podcast isn't for me, this episode isn't for me, it may or may not be. You follow your own intuition on that. What my deeper underlying heartfelt intention is around this is for us to all recognize our mothers in a different way. Whether you had an estranged relationship with your mother, whether you had or have a very close relationship with her, we go through like these ups and downs, right, in our relationships with our mothers. And I can say from such a deep heart space at 48 years old, I have an appreciation for my mother. that I never thought or knew was possible. I deeply, deeply believe that we all choose our parents, that inside of this, and again, you don't have to buy any of this, right? This is just my belief. I believe when we're inside the soul realm, we actually co-create the spiritual curriculum that we are going to require inside of this physical realm in order to remember and awaken. And I believe part of that spiritual curriculum is our parents. And in the context of our mom, the way with which we see the feminine, the way with which we're introduced to the feminine through our mothers. Again, for you may be super close, it may be estranged, it may be confusing, it may be all of these kinds of things. I feel that there's such an extraordinary opportunity for us as we grow into womanhood to deeply heal the aspects of the feminine that we may have judged through our mothers, whether we saw our mom as overly emotional or dependent or overly powerful or whatever the judgment might be, that if we can gift ourselves permission to pull back a bit and heal our own perception of the feminine and consider recognizing that we saw through the lens that was needed for us at that time in order for us to more fully awaken. My mom had me when she was 21 years old. My son is about to turn 21. I cannot even fathom. She had 4 kids by the time she was 28. She was a baby raising babies, you know? And I always, always knew that I was loved. I mean, not a second did I doubt that. There were intense times around that when I see how powerful she was, she is, all that I've learned from her and how to advocate for myself, what she taught me about anything being possible. Like literally, my mom rides on a frequency of like, you want it, it's happening. Like where there's a will, there's a way. My mom literally moved mountains. I've learned so much from this woman. And also the pieces inside that I've learned where I get to lean back in my feminine more and receive. And the witnessing I've seen in my mother as she's grown, because that's the other thing. You know, when we're kids and we just think that our parents have it all figured out. In fact, my oldest Dominic said this, and I don't remember what the context was, but he said just recently, since he's been home from college in the last week, like something to the effect of when you're little, you think the adults have it all figured out. And as you grow, you realize they don't, which is so true, right? When we're little kids, we just think, okay, they know better than me. They know I'm just supposed to follow the rules. I'm supposed to follow this. And then the awakening of like, no, they don't know. They don't know. There's an opportunity for growth and evolution inside of all of that. So what I want to bring forward inside of this context for what's available to all of us as we move through the realm of what's possible, what's not, what's available to us, what's expected from us, that we really slow down into this space from considering our mothers as souls having a human experience and what it is we've actually learned from them. So I'm going to invite just a short journal exercise today as we move into Mother's Day and consider an intention of receiving a level of love, a level of understanding, a level of appreciation, a level of connection that perhaps you didn't even know was possible between you and your mom, and deeper yet, between you and the feminine. So I'm going to invite you to create a sacred space. Again, it doesn't need to be a long time, like 5 minutes. If you want to go longer, you can go longer. And journaling with your FemmeTypes and setting the intention again of learning, of healing, of connection, of letting go of any resentment, of letting go of any projection, and really receiving that heartfelt, beautiful, unlimited love that's available between you and your mother and between you and the feminine. So sitting down again with your journal, asking your indie, what is it that I'm here to receive about the truth of who I am from my mother? Okay, knowing that the indie is here as being, the indie is here to remind us of who we truly are. Ask your indie, what is it that I'm here to receive about the truth of who I am from my mother? And journal with that. Ask for that guidance. Who does she represent to you in the deepest level of truth? I'm not talking about the illusions. I'm not talking about the contrast. I'm not talking about the agita. I'm talking about the truth. And once you've gone through that a little bit, then asking your Frenchie, what is it that I'm here to remember is mine to enjoy from my mother? My mom, she is such a tomboy. And yet I learned over the years how much she actually loves beautiful things. I didn't know that. Like, I just saw through the lens of like, well, this is just who she is. She has long hair and she loves her Birkenstocks, which now, by the way, I love Birkenstocks as well. And I have my long hair, and funny how that happens, right? My mom also loves beautiful, high-end, luxurious things that I never saw. So journal with, what is it that I'm here to remember that's mine to enjoy through the lens of my mom? And journal with that. And we'll go ahead and put these in the show notes as well, so you don't need to remember writing down all these questions. And the final one, the New Yorker. We know the New Yorker has had such a huge transformation over the years. We know that she's not just doing, that she's allowing. One of the biggest lessons I have received from my mom in the past few years is watching her receive things, watching her allow things into her life. In her late 60s, having the dream home on the lake that she always dreamed of, just dropping into her life. The boat that she always wanted, dropping into her life. Like this beautiful, stunning level of receiving I've witnessed from my mother as she's just allowed these stunning things to just pour into her life has been like so incredibly beautiful for me. So asking the New Yorker, what is it that I'm here to allow that I couldn't see before, right? What is it that I'm here to allow now that I can allow fully? Ask that through the lens of the New Yorker. And really sit with this before Mother's Day. If there's any distance, if there's any agita, if there's any blame or projection between you and your mom, consider letting it go. Consider allowing this Mother's Day to be a point of beauty and connection. I'm not saying you need to overcompensate, but we sometimes hold on to things, and again, in my gift of witnessing so many clients who have had their moms transition, and that hindsight of like, oh my God, if I just would have told her I loved her, I just would have had a cup of tea with her, I just would have sent her the flowers, or what, you'll know. And again, it's not overcompensating, but it is a letting go of any kind of blame and really appreciating our mothers for the souls that they are, knowing that they presented to us the exact curriculum that we required to remember who we are. So with that, to all of the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. And if you aren't a mother, then I am saying happy Mother's Day to your mother and thankful that she brought you into this world. I love you. Have a beautiful weekend.
Thank you so much. Merci for listening to the Beautiful Soul-Led Life podcast. I would love if this message served you, that you support it and share it with other women who might benefit from really having their lives in balance with their FemmeTypes. And if you can leave a comment, do a review, I love reading every single one of them. And I would adore if you could take a snapshot of yourself wherever you listen to this episode and post it on social media. My Instagram is elegantfemme1, and I'd love to see you, share you, and just celebrate with you as you are moving into creating, experiencing, and claiming your own beautiful soul-led life.